manifold tuning pop test. The main component of the air intake system. What do you think about that? What is it? The air cleaner, yeah. Basically, stuff going through there. All right, number 2. Which of the numbered items in the illustration is the intake manifold runner control actuator?
Number 2.
Number 4.
4.
Intake air runner control, that's right. If you had read the handout, you would know this. All right. Number 3, throttle rotation is controlled by cam cable linkage. On some cars now it's controlled by the electronic throttle plate driver. Why is the cam cable linkage used to open the throttle plate? To slow the initial opening. If you jerk it open too quick, you're going to get a stumble. So basically it's a sort of a graduated thing. It starts to open slowly and then it picks up speed. Most people don't ever think about that. They see this and they don't even know why that is. Yeah. It's basically going to make it start. Okay, the PCM uses the idle air control valve assembly for 6 things. What are they? No touch starting. Cold engine fast idle. There you go for rapid warm up.
Idle corrects for engine load.
Idle collects for engine load. Stumble or stalling on deceleration, which provides a dash pot function. What's that mean? When you let off, it catches it and it lets it come back to idle slowly. It doesn't just let it slap back to idle because it will stall if it does. And over temperature idle boost, and then air assist to the injectors. What do you think about that? How many people knew that that thing had 6 different things? Now, if you jack around with your throttle plate stop, which you're really not supposed to do, what you wind up with a lot of the time is you'll wind up with a situation where you've got this thing in the dead band where it doesn't even control the idle. Now then, number 6.
Number 5.
No, excuse me, number 5. What is this doggone thing? What is that? What is that doggone thing? What is it? Bring in this picture right here. What is it? Huh? Idle air control. Good answer, boy.
What is it?
Idle air control. That's the idle air control motor. Idle air control motor. You got that? All right, number 6. The powertrain control module uses 2 input signals to determine the activation of the intake manifold tuning valve system. There must be a positive change in voltage from the throttle position sensor along with an increase in RPM to open the shutter. Which 2 input signals does it use? Now, if it wants to know where the throttle is, what sensor is it going to look at? Bingo. And what else? If it wants to know engine speed, what's it going to look at? Well, it's close. Crank position. Crank sensor. Yeah, signal, yeah. There are 2 basic types of intake air subsystems. They are
Intake manifold under control.
And
Intake manifold tuning.
Intake manifold tuning valve. That's right. All right. Let me get over here. Name one difference between the intake manifold tuning valve and the intake manifold runner control system.
One thing I can come up with is the intake manifold runner has a feedback system, and the intake manifold tuning does not.
Everybody like that?
See, the intake manifold runner has a feedback system, and the intake manifold tuning does not. I don't know if that's the only thing I can come up with.
Yeah, that's basically just one difference. I mean, you got that. Yeah, it doesn't know where that intake manifold tuning valve is. It's just in the bottom of the intake and it flips back and forth. And it's basically spring loaded. It's spring loaded in one direction, and if you put power to it, it goes the other way, and then you let off, it comes back. But the intake manifold runner control, what are those used for? Webb, hand me that manifold up there. I've showed this before in some of these other videos, but this one right here has got intake manifold runner control of a particular type, right? You see, there's your actuator right there. This came off of like a late model Mustang. And why did they pull it off? It's brand new. There's nothing wrong with it. Even these injectors are good. They pulled it off because they were putting a supercharger on there. So they didn't need this with a supercharger. It was a different manifold. But see these little things right here that open and close? Those little plates right there. Now, whenever you've got that thing idling, it's like that. And that causes the air, when it goes past those little flappers, to pick up speed. And it goes in there and it makes it more efficient.
And that sits on top of the intake?
Yeah, that's actually the intake manifold, and the air goes in there. Yeah. I mean, this is the intake. This is the intake. It gets down to the heads. See what I'm saying? And these little runners. Now that little split port induction engine, that little 98 Escort over there, it's like that too. There, you can put that back up there. All right. So anyway, that's basically what you're looking at. So, I mean, just that one difference is due. You know, you've got feedback typically on the one that's got, you know, if it's just got 2 wires going to it, it don't know where it is. If it's got several wires going to it, it usually does. And you'll run into codes for that too. Now, number 9, the intake manifold tuning valve is a motorized actuated unit mounted directly to the intake manifold, and it will be commanded on by the PCM at a what% duty cycle to move the shutter to the open position, and falls to what to keep it open. 100%, and then it drops back to 50%. Got it? Boy, this phone has just been ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing. And the number 10 is illustration number 2. All right, everybody done?